Greetings to all of my loved ones. Welcome back to another episode of Healing Wisdom with me, Empress Oracle, your favorite realist and of course sexiest spiritual advisor. On behalf of Starseed Galactic Federation, I have been given access to this knowledgeable information from my Akashic records for the purpose of helping humanity. This information has been given directly to me as a divine channel, and any use and or reproduction of this information without the proper acknowledgement or accreditation from where it was received will result in instant karma for the plagiarizing parties and or individuals. And so it is. Now, y'all saw the title. It's called self-projection. Now, as per Webster's dictionary, there are a plethora of definitions for projection based on what it is you're talking about. But we are going to speak on the ones that pertain to this topic here, which is the topic of self-projection. So I have 3 definitions that I'm going to read for you as far as projection in terms of self. The first one is the attribution of one's own ideas, feelings, or attitudes to other people or to objects. The second one is the act of projection, especially to an audience. And the third one is an estimate of future possibilities based on a current trend. Now, in terms of self-projection, with those 3, that is, you may meet somebody and you're ambitious, you're moving towards your goals, and let's just say it's your friend group that you've had since like high school, middle school, whatever. All of you guys had the same chances in life, the same opportunities, the same 24 hours in a day, right? However, they decided to do something different with their time, and in terms, they ended up being less productive than you. Let's just say you decided to go to school, they decided to be in the streets. So then, once they see your life going forward in a positive way, and you know, they have a record 8 miles long, they may start to self-project onto you and try to put doubts in your head, and all of a sudden say, oh, you're different, you're acting funny, you think you all that, you think you better than everybody. They're self-projecting their insecurities to you. So, the act of self-projection, as far as the audience, you see a lot of people do that on the internet. There's a lot of people, you see a lot of that on social media. There are a lot of celebrities who may not be where they want to be in their careers, or they may be bitter because they see other people that put more work, have a more positive productivity rate, right, who take their careers more seriously, doing better, and so then they decide to self-project onto their audience. They just get them Twitter fingers, the spirit fingers, whatever you decide to call it, and they rant and rave bitterly talking about other people, but really they're projecting their own insecurities because their career is not where it wants to be. That's another form of it. And also too, you may have people who they may see a trend going on. Let's just take spirituality. They may see everybody getting more spiritual, balancing their chakras, meditating, and becoming overall better people. And instead of them going and doing the same inner work or trying to, find a spiritual path for their own self-evolution, instead they may want to hate and be negative and be like, oh, that's just a trend. Everybody thinks they're spiritual, blah, blah, blah. Everybody so this and that. However, they see the difference in the people. They see the people are more peaceful, less combative, right? And they're moving more positive directions in their life. Those are examples of all 3 of those different types of projection. As per Webster's dictionary, I broke it down in layman's terms just so you guys get, a healthier grasp of those different forms of projection that pertain to this topic right here of self-projection. Now, self-projection is essentially the outward display of a person's thoughts or feelings about themselves. Hence why I call it self-projection. Now, I will say, everybody at some point has a tendency to self-project. I know myself personally, I self-project onto people a lot. And in the past, that used to get my feelings hurt a lot because I am an eternal optimist. The glass is always half full to me. I don't give a fuck what happens in life. I always feel as though as long as you still have breath in your body, as long as you're still of sound mind and body, there's always a chance to do better. I say that all the time. I've had to start over in life many times before. So I have a tendency to self-project onto other people to look on the brighter side of things. And when you're with somebody who has a self-entitled persona, or they are a self-proclaimed victim in life. They wear that victim role like a cape, like a Superman cape with pride, and they don't want to heal themselves, they don't want to do the work. That kind of self-projection, it has a negative outcome because they become bitter. They start to feel as though you think you're better than them, because why are you always self-projecting positivity into somebody who clearly loves darkness and depression? My bad. For those of you guys I've self-projected that on, my bad, right? However, that doesn't mean for you to change yourself. That doesn't mean for you to stop spewing your positivity, right? That means that you are speaking to the wrong audience. So anybody who's watching this video, either you are tired of being self-projected upon, or you've had this happen to you. Either way, I'm glad that you're here. Now, I am an empath, as I said before many a times, and a lot of people, whether they are aware of their spiritual or psychic gifts, are empaths and they don't even realize it. Those tend to be, the chameleons. When they get around certain people, they may take on those people's personas. When they travel, when they live certain places, they may pick up certain vernacular, certain lingo, certain slang. They have empathic tendencies, so they tend to absorb the energy that's around them, right? Empaths have a tendency to be projected upon the most because they are essentially psychic sponges. Therefore, they absorb other people's emotions, whether negative or positive. Essentially, they become mirrors, which is why they are more likely to be mentally, physically, or emotionally abused. And a lot of times they don't even realize it because, there's always that empath narcissist dynamic. And a lot of times people who are empaths, they grow up around narcissists. A lot of times people who are empathic, they have one or two parents or family members. It doesn't have to be a parent. It could be a cousin, a brother, somebody who's close to them who has narcissistic tendencies, right? And that is because the other person cannot handle the reflection of themselves, okay? And a lot of times people who are empathic, they reflect to the other person the positive traits that they either are suppressing, denying, or that they have in themselves, but they're not outwardly displaying, and that person feels a way about it. That's just it. Narcissists have a tendency to self-project because they do not want to take accountability of their actions, right? Emotionally unavailable or unstable people have a tendency to self-project onto others because they cannot properly handle or heal from their repressed emotions, and instead they want their audience to have the same mindset as them. That's where that saying hurt people comes into play. That's what comes to mind with me, because I've been around emotionally unavailable people and emotionally unstable people who they are that way because of their past, maybe their childhood, how they were raised, their environment, the kind of company they keep, because peer pressure is a thing. Peer pressure is not just, physical activity. Peer pressure can also be emotional. They may have tried to express themselves and they got shot down every time, or people told them they were being weak or X, Y, and Z, so they stopped being in touch and in tune with those emotions in a positive way. And it's not your fault. It's not your place to try to make an emotionally unavailable person emotionally available to you, because in the end, you're the one whose feelings get hurt. Emotional growth involves positively identifying any negative or repressed emotions you may have towards a person, place, thing, or even idea, and understand the underlying cause of these feelings instead of projecting them onto others, which a lot of people do and they don't even realize it, or trying to make them feel negative about themselves because that's the way that you feel about yourself, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, because sometimes people do things they don't even realize that they're doing it. And that's where that saying that comes to my mind is misery loves company. And you have to be aware of that, especially if you know that you are a spiritually gifted person, an empath, or just a highly sensitive individual. If you hang around people who have that misery loves company mindset, they're going to bring you down. It's the same as they say, show me your friends and I'll show you who you really are. People don't realize how true that is. The company that you keep, it affects you in more ways than one. But one of the major ways that it can affect you is emotionally and mentally. And if you are around a whole bunch of people who are negative, who are emotionally unavailable or emotionally unstable, whether you want to or not, you will become that way also in some way, shape, or form. Okay, especially if they see that you're super empathic or you're super in touch with your emotions in a certain genre, whether it's personal relationships. If they see you have a healthy relationship with somebody, whether it's your girlfriend, your brother, your cousin, and they don't have that, they can project onto you and you don't even realize it, because there are a lot of people out here that are wordsmiths. There are a lot of people out here that are mental manipulators and emotional manipulators, and you won't even realize it, because the way that they word things, they'll have you thinking that you're the one that's at fault. They'll have you thinking that these thoughts are yours when really they're not. They're a projection of that other person. So please beware of that. The saying, "It was done to me, so why not do it to others?" That's a cop-out, and it also displays narcissistic tendencies. Okay, I'm gonna say narcissistic tendencies because there are a lot of people that are borderline narcissists, there are a lot of people that are baby narcissists, and there are a lot of people who are narcissistic or have narcissistic tendencies by default, i.e. because of the company that they keep, the surroundings, the people that they're around have projected those traits onto them, and instead of them realizing that that's not even the way I really feel, they absorb it and they project it onto other people. That's why it's important to take the time to self-reflect and heal, and that has to be done alone. I don't care how much you don't like being alone. If you are the kind of person that does not like to be alone, it's a problem, because you cannot fully heal, you cannot fully evolve, and you cannot achieve your full purpose if you don't take certain times in life to be by yourself and to self-reflect on your actions. What have your actions, how have they benefited you? How have they held you back in life? What was the root of your actions? What was the cause? When emotional damage is left unhealed, you will inadvertently start to self-project, no matter who you are. And that is how you become a narcissist. A lot of people love to throw the word narcissist around and say a lot of people are narcissistic, but they don't ever really realize how somebody becomes a narcissist. Nobody is born a narcissist. Nobody. It's due to your environment, how the people in your environment, how they cope, how they deal with their emotions, and how they project. Do they project the negativity that they feel on the inside on you? Or even if the times are hard, life is hard, do they project and speak life into you? Are they optimistic? Do they always look on the brighter side of things? Because who you are around is who you become, as I say. Now, it can be undone. You just have to be willing to do the work. And that is the problem with a lot of people. A lot of people are afraid to do the work, because when you have to look yourself in the mirror, when you have to face those demons and be real with yourself, a lot of times people, they don't want to do that, because who they see when they look in the mirror is an ugly person. But I'm trying to tell you, this is the time to heal and to grow, because who you are on the inside is eventually going to show on the outside. Whether it shows by you aging horribly, whether it shows by you manifesting physical ailments and illnesses and you don't really know the source of it, it's because you're holding all that negative shit in, right? But it's going to show eventually. It might even show because all of a sudden you might be forced into isolation because you're so negative and you project so many things onto other people because of how you feel about yourself, that people are going to choose not to want to be around you unless they're miserable just like you. It does not happen overnight. It takes self-awareness and self-acknowledgement, i.e. accountability, in order to heal from these things. Healing is very important. I say this all the time. Healing is a lifelong journey. Nobody in this world goes through life without having to take some time to self-reflect, to self-evaluate, and to self-heal. And I said self-heal. I did not say self-medicate. Right? A lot of people, instead of healing, instead of doing the work, they want to self-medicate. They want to submerge themselves in things that they know are not good for them. However, it takes their mind off of the emotional damage that has been done to them. And all you're doing is just killing yourself slowly. That's why we have so many people walking around here that are just shells of themselves. Just a glimmer of what they could be. Don't let that be you, guys. That's all I'm saying. I hope everybody receives this message well and with love, because that is my intention as I put it out to everybody. I love you all. And also too, I made it to the second round of my competition for Ink Magazine. So if you're watching this and you have Instagram or if you have TikTok, please check the link in my bio. Click that link and there's a free daily vote where you can vote for me every 24 hours. It's free. It costs you nothing. thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I love you all. Be safe, and don't forget to heal.